Hi, cat. Come and get some mango, baby.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. Self-awareness is a superpower. My name is KathyLaDonna. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. I hope the free thinkers are doing well. And if you're not doing well, I'm happy to remind you that you are the most powerful person that you know. You are the most powerful person that you know because only you can create your reality. So this video is about Mars going retrograde in the sign of Gemini. And the retrograde starts on October 30th and it's happening all the way until January 12th, 2023. So Mars usually spends about 6 weeks in a zodiac sign, but it's linger in Gemini for more than 7 months. And to me, this says a lot. Like, I've noticed a shift in myself when Mars went into Gemini. I noticed a shift in myself in the sense that normally I'm the type of person that can only focus on one thing at a time. I don't like to multitask because it feels like extra noise, overstimulation, and it overwhelms me. It feels like it's depleting energy from me. But since Mars went into Gemini, I find myself multitasking or gravitating towards quicker information, where normally I like to dive into things and kind of absorb stuff. Where when you think of, say, Gemini, you think of Gemini and then the opposition Sagittarius, where Gemini would be like a comic book. It'll be the astrology, your zodiac information in the back of the magazine, and it's short and sweet and to the point. Where you think of Sag, the opposite is you getting a book that's focused on the sign and it's going into the details, the houses, the aspects, the placement. It's just information is so expansive. There's so much depth to it. Where when Mars went into Gemini, collectively we all might have found ourselves gravitating more to things that don't have as much substance, in the sense that instead of going towards the Sag side where we're diving into higher information and educating ourselves and becoming knowledgeable on certain things, when Mars went into Gemini, this is where we might find ourselves more entertained when it comes to, say, quick information like celebrity gossip, and just quick information and more fun, lighthearted information that makes us laugh more, information that's more lighter opposed to something more heavier and requires too much focus or staying in one place for too long. But with Mars in retrograde in Gemini, when I think about Mars in retrograde in Gemini, I think of a car with 4 flat tires. So of course, with the car with 4 flat tires, yes, the car can drive, but it's not able to move the way how it used to move. So the movement is going to be so much more sluggish compared to normal. And Gemini energy is an energy that deals with communication. It deals with information, local community, education, and also to quick information. So that's gossip, and also deals with socializing. And when I think of Mars energy, Mars is passion, it's motivation, it's drive, like sex drive, it's energy, it's just overall raw energy. So with raw energy in retrograde, that means that the energy has slowed down so much to where it appears to be going backwards in the sky, because whenever a planet is in retrograde, it's not moving backwards. It just slowed down so much to where it looks like it's going backwards in relation to the other planets that are moving super fast. It's like a bunch of cars going one way on the highway, and then one slowed down so much to where it looks like it's going backwards in relation to the others. So with Mars energy slowed down, like, that's the worst thing that can happen to Mars. Mars is the warrior. Mars is the soldier. This is the soldier that hears that it can't participate in the battle of a lifetime type of vibe. That's depressing. It's sad. It's exhausting to not be moving so fast. On August 20th, when Mars went into Gemini, you may have felt a burst of energy in a specific area of your life wherever Mars is amplifying when it moves into Gemini, whatever house you have Gemini in. And when Mars goes into retrograde on October 30th, you're going to notice a depleting of this energy. So this is where you're going to be forced to be honest with yourself about what it is that you've been doing. I think of, say, the person who has Gemini on the ascendant. So when Mars went into Gemini, they all of a sudden had the motivation to start working out, to lose weight, and to get in better shape. But when Mars goes into retrograde, that motivation might not be there, to where now it feels like they have to go out of their way to work out and stay in shape. And for some people might find themselves like not following through anymore because that push that was there, it's like a current that was carrying them, that current stops. So now they have to paddle themselves or swim themselves. So wherever Mars is retrograding in your chart, you're going to feel this sense of responsibility to get yourself wherever you're trying to go, where before there was a current naturally taking you. And what I love about this helps us to be honest with ourselves about our motivation when it comes to certain things. Because when it comes to certain things, we can naturally take on a superficial motivation because that's what we think is the right thing to do. But when that current is no longer taking us, this is when we have to be truthful about our true motivations, or even find better ones to sustain us. This comes down to your why. Why do you get up every day and do what it is that you do? Mars energy will definitely show you that. Because with Pluto direct and Saturn direct, you can feel, a lot of us feel ourselves being pulled to make major transformations in our lives. And for some people, it might feel like you're taking a step back in order to go forward when it comes to this transformation. But trust me, it's all a part of the process. Sometimes you got to take a step back, catch your balance so you could shoot forward and run like somebody's chasing you type of vibe. But I love the way how Mars retrograde adds to that energy, where Pluto and Saturn is already transforming you, and soon Jupiter will be direct and you'll feel that more momentum to move forward. Mars energy is helping you to be honest about your motivation. It's one thing when the energy is naturally taking you. It's like someone else is responsible for you. It's carrying you. But it's another thing when that's not there anymore. So like, say the person with it on the ascendant and that motivation was getting you to the gym and helping you to work out. If the motivation isn't something, if your why isn't true to you, it's going to be hard. It's like when people ask me, how do you stay vegan for so long? I started on my journey in 2006. It comes down to my why. So when it comes to the person who has transiting Mars on their ascendant, say for example, if someone had some news, scary news at the doctor, and that was their motivation to work out. When Mars goes in retrograde, they're still going to work out, even though they have to push themselves to do it because their why is so strong and rooted. But say the person who has superficial reasons, that why is not enough to root them in whatever it is that they're doing. So what I love about Mars retrograde, when it comes to the area of your life that it's in, your sun, moon, or rising area, this is going to force you to clarify your why. Why are you doing what it is that you're doing? Because Mars is our motivation. It's the fuel that gets the car going. It's what moves it. So why? What is your big why? When it comes to starting business, and Mars energy is an entrepreneurial energy. And an entrepreneur is a risk taker. No matter how many business classes a person takes, no one can educate a person on becoming a risk taker. It's either you have it or you don't. But Mars energy is a risk-taking energy. And what motivates us to take risk is why. Why are you taking this risk? This calculated risk, hopefully. So that's what I love for us about Mars retrograde energy. It's helping us to be honest about our whys as Pluto and Saturn is transforming our lives in ways that will look unrecognizable, say 2-3 years from now, looking back at ourselves today. And of course, everybody won't have the same experience, in the sense that we can all feel the calling, but not all of us listen and go. And for me, it's a matter of you feel the calling and you go with it because you trust it, you trust the creator, you trust your intuition. Or you feel it and you ignore it and you get dragged. This is where we experience dark nights of the soul moments, because you heard the heart call. But because the mind is terrified, because it can't see it has no vision. It doesn't have enough vision to see where the heart is taking you. So the mind panics, because the mind is all about repetition and familiarity. So because there's no familiarity or repetition in where it is that you're going, the mind talks you out of it, but the heart is pulling you, but the mind is talking you out of it. And that's where turbulence happens, and we experience dark night of the soul moments. So many people could be experiencing major dark night of the soul moments because the heart is calling, but the mind is forcing you to be still. And the way how some people will cope with this is through escapism in whatever way one chooses to escape. Because I can't imagine a person getting up and being able to live with themselves knowing that they're ignoring that call that's coming from within. It's like I said recently in one of the videos that I made earlier, there's nothing wrong with a person content and comfortable where they are with what they have. But I think it's scary for a person to not be content and do nothing about it. That's a scary person. That's a scary situation. Because a person who's content, genuinely content with where they are and what they have, they can be happy for other people because they don't want what other people have. They have everything they need and they're content. But the person who isn't content and who's doing nothing about it, that's a scary situation. I don't even want to share all my thoughts with that, but you think about that. I want to share 5 things with you and 5 tips on how to maneuver this energy, make the most of this energy. Because with this energy, I could definitely see with Mercury dealing with passion, information, and just overall energy in retrograde. So the energy is slowed down to where we're in a space of reflection. We're reflecting on our motivation when it comes to communication, reflecting on our motivation when it comes to information. Why do we consume what it is that we consume? Why do we speak the way we speak? Why do we talk about the things that we talk about? Our motivation when it comes to family, our siblings, motivation when it comes to our curiosity, the need for diversity. Those are all the things that we're reflecting on. So I feel like because of this is where communication could easily be misunderstood, because there's no energy that's pushing and supporting the drive associated with it. So when it comes to the 5 tips that I would like to share with you to make the most of this energy, the first one is meditation. And when I say meditation, I mean breath work. I mean becoming a witness of your breath. Be conscious. Spend moments where you're consciously breathing in and out. You cannot observe yourself gripping your wrist tightly and think at the same time. So the point of meditation is to reduce the thinking, the unnecessary thoughts, and bring your attention to the sensations that's happening in or on your body, like when you observe yourself breathing. So the first tip is meditation. Meditation will definitely help, because with Mars slowed down in Gemini, I can see how this can spark anxiety for a lot of people. And the reason why I get that, I think of the person who has a strong, alert, functioning mind that feels stuck in a body that's barely moving. So this can cause panic. So say for those who feel this energy so strongly, like I think of Kanye West, who has his sun in Gemini and Mars entering into his sign and all the antics and excitement going on with him. I mean, he always has excitement and things going on, but look at lately what's going on with him. But look at the excitement and what's going on with him, and think about how Mars, the planet of war and aggression, is conjuncting or near his sun, his identity, who he identifies as. To me, it's like someone feeling a sense of responsibility to carry a torch, that kind of energy. With Mars in retrograde, it's like all of that is slowed down. It's like somebody pours some water over that fire. The second tip that I want to share with you is the importance of journaling or speaking things out. For some people, they might find that turning on their camera and just speaking out as if they're speaking to God, speaking to their higher self, speaking to whoever, and pouring their heart out, or even taking out paper and pencil and journaling and pouring their heart out, the release will feel so much better. Because with everyone also feeling this Mars energy, you could find yourself wanting to vent to someone and you're venting, but they're not really hearing you because they themselves is busy reflecting on whatever it is that they're feeling and going through. So they check in from time to time to hear you, but they're not really hearing you. And releasing energy, releasing whatever is on your mind, releasing whatever it is that you're feeling can help you to just feel so much freer instead of allowing the energy to pin up inside. And I also think when it comes to the journaling, the benefits of it, because you might find yourself coming up with some great ideas or solutions to things as you reflect on your motivations having to do with all the things that I mentioned, Gemini related. The third tip that I want to share with you is the importance of having patience when it comes to communication. Because with Mars in retrograde and Gemini, the motivation, to me, this is where someone takes so long to respond to a text message, takes so long to respond to an email, takes so long to call you back, or you're having a conversation and it just feels like so sluggish. It's just not quick and firing. So I feel like from that, there could be a lot of misunderstandings. So to avoid misunderstandings, you want to be patient when it comes to communication and know that nothing is personal. The fourth thing that I want to talk to you about is consuming your energy. That's the fourth tip. Consuming your energy during this retrograde. And I say consume your energy because take it back to that car with the 4 flat tires. The more you try to drive on those flat tires, you're going to ruin the rims. So you want to slow it down and take your time. So when it comes to slowing it down and taking your time, this is where you don't want to exert too much energy when it comes to things that are just not that important. This is where you have to check in to ask yourself what's more important and decide what's more important from what isn't, and distribute your energy that way. The fifth thing, the last thing that I want to share with you, the last tip, is not to make any promises. You don't want to make any promises because it's so easy to overpromise and underdeliver. I say overpromise and underdeliver because with Mars here, the motivation to go to that event that you said you would go to might not be there. It's like you feel like you can go to the party, but when it's time to go, just to pick yourself up and take you there, it feels like a lot of work. Or being in certain social settings, you'll question yourself if you really want to be bothered with these people, if you really want to be bothered with these family members. Reflect on the connection with your siblings and what is the motivational factor of this connection between siblings, family members, and different social interactions. A lot of reflection is happening, and motivation is the fuel. It's the fuel that goes into the car and makes it run. And some of the times the motivations that we have towards things aren't genuine motivations. It's kind of like a made up thing that we tell ourselves. And when I say a made up thing that we tell ourselves, it's like the person who is motivated by, say, a certain belief process. And they're motivated by the belief process because that's just what they were told. It's how they were raised and what they were told to put importance on. And they have no actual experience when it comes to this belief process. It's like someone believing, say, in a certain religious process, or believing in something, but they believe because of what they were told and not because of their own experience. Because they don't believe from a place of personal experience, it's so easy to be swayed here, there, and everywhere. But when we're believing from a place of personal experience, when the motivation comes from a place of personal experience, when there's tangible evidence to support the motivation, then it just feels right. So this is where we're reevaluating and revisiting and reflecting on our motivations when it comes to certain social groups, family members, friends, what we communicate about, what we share, information, gossip, different things like that. So like I said, when the motivation is backed by actual experiences, it's different than when the motivation's backed by thought. It's so easy to flip-flop and change your mind and change directions. The extended version to this video is available on Patreon, where I go deeper into the sun, moon, and rising signs and how Mars retrograde will be affecting these energies. Also on Patreon, you can find extended videos on all of the full moon, new moon videos, even Saturn and Pluto energy going direct, how it affects sun, moon, rising. There you could find exclusive content that's only for Patreon, pick a card readings, book club information, and information on us going live together on Zoom where we're having conversations about different things. The link is in the description box below for that. If you'd like to get your natal chart read, the link is also in the description box below. If you're still here with me, I'll love to hear about it. Please let me know by dropping me a pink heart in the comment box below. I would love to hear from you. Love yourself as if your life depended on it, because it does. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.